Hello, everyone. Welcome to Buy Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven77. And yeah, I'm going to be here. Is just a few weeks ago, I talked about a Tim Burton Johnny Depp collaboration, Dark Shadows, and I'm back with another one. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this movie is I personally feel this movie is very underrated. I don't really hear too many people talk about it. And even though it is a musical, it's actually really got some good elements to it. And, especially if you're a horror film lover, if you're a leather? Yeah, leather. If you're a lover of gothic stories, and the movie I want to talk about is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And this came out in 2007. And honestly, I really don't understand why this movie doesn't seem to get much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really do enjoy this movie, and I think the music is great. I know there have been like a zillion versions of the Tale of Sweeney Todd, but I particularly really enjoy this one, and not only just because I'm a Tim Burton Johnny Depp fan. Just to me, this one out of the ones that I've seen. Now, granted, I haven't seen um, every single adaptation of the stage play, but for me, this is my favorite because it's gory, it's bloody, the music is good, the acting is fantastic. I love the style of it. It has that Tim Burton gothic style to it, and this one here just kind of seems to have. I've seen versions of Sweeney Todd where it just you didn't have as much story as this version does, and they say on here, I don't know how accurate it is, but they do say on here that even Stephen Sondheim considered this version to be his ultimate favorite adaptation of his work. So in the beginning, there's the song "There's No Place Like London," and there's a young man, and we're introduced to Sweeney Todd, played by Johnny Depp, who I think really gives a great performance in this movie. He's cold, vicious, ruthless, but he does, he's interesting because he also has a sadness to him. There, he's very melancholy, and we found out that his character Sweeney Todd has actually been, well, that's actually a different name. His real name is Benjamin Barker. So he gets put in jail for a number of years because he was put in jail on basically like a trumped up charge by an evil judge, and the judge was played by the late great Alan Rickman, who does a great job in this movie, and actually is a pretty good singer in his own right in this movie as well. So he got put in jail because Alan Rickman's character, the judge, fancied Benjamin Barker's wife. So he put him in jail, then seduced his wife, and basically ruined her life. And but there are some different things going on there. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you. So anyway, so now he spent these years in jail. He's upset. He's mad. He wants vengeance, and so he goes back to his old barbershop. But he finds out now that the first floor is actually now a pie shop run by Mrs. What was it, Mrs. Lovett? Yeah, I think it was Mrs. Lovett. And she's making these really horrible pies, and so she takes him upstairs to his, to where his kind of barber shop was, and so now all Sweeney Todd can think about is he just wants to get revenge. He's just focused on that. He knew that his wife had a child, and it turns out now that the child was actually adopted by the judge, Alan Rickman's character, and this young man who was on the boat at the beginning of the movie with Benjamin Barker. He sees the beautiful young woman, and he starts to fall in love with her, but the judge, Alan Rickman's character, decides, nah, he ain't having none of that. So at first, they beat him up, threaten him, try to intimidate him, things like that. Then the judge decides, well, she's my ward, so the best thing that I need to do is I need to go ahead and marry her myself, so that way I can continue to protect her. Meanwhile, you have, you know, uh, the you have Sweeney and Mrs. Lovett. They decide that they're going to you know um, basically try to start up his business, and he wants to see if he can lure people in to get revenge and things like that. And then ultimately they decide that one thing that they could do is, actually, I think I got a little ahead of that. Anyway, they go to this kind of fair, kind of a thing where people are showing, like, they're selling their tonics and everything else. And one person, played by Sasha Baron Cohen, he plays a barber who he's sorry, my throat's dry. So he's talking about how he's the greatest barber in the world, but his thing is he's kind of more of a showman. And so Sweeney Todd, Benjamin Barker, Johnny Depp's character, he decides, I'll challenge you to, basically like a shave off. We'll give two people a shave. The one person who gives the best shave, wins. They're going to get money out of this, and Todd needs the money so he can get his business up and going again. Plus, also too, to get his name out there so he can start, getting customers. And it turns out that Sasha Baron Cohen's character has this young boy named Toby, who's kind of, I would say, kind of an assistant, but he treats the kid more like a slave. And so he goes and they do the shave, and basically Johnny Depp, his character is like the best barber in the world, so he just done. And I was like, wow, it's the smoothest shave the guy's ever had. And so he wins the bet. But then Sasha Baron Cohen's character comes to try to blackmail him. And one thing that he's telling him, he's like, I know who you are, and here's the thing. It's like, yeah, you can start your shop, but here's the thing, you're going to give me like 50% of your earnings. Otherwise, I'm going to go and I'm going to tell people who you are, and let them know that basically say that the contest was fixed and everything else. And so Sweeney Todd gets mad, so he turns around and he smashes his head in with a tea kettle, and he stuffs the body in the trunk. And so meanwhile, the boy is downstairs, and Mrs. Lovett gives him a meat pie, and the kid's like the only one who can eat this pie because it's disgusting. He's got roaches and stuff in it. So it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna, I need to go tell him he's late for an appointment. So he goes up, and Johnny Depp's telling him, he left, you might want to go try to see if you can find him. So the kid goes out, and so Mrs. Lovett, she's about ready to come up. But the one thing that I really like is the amount of blood spray and gore that is in this movie is unbelievable. So, he stuffs Sasha Baron Cohen's body in the trunk. He's trying to get out. And so he takes the razor and, slits his throat, and you see blood just literally, it's like when he starts killing people and he's like cutting their throats, and literally like blood is just spraying. It's hitting the camera lens and everything. So blood just getting everywhere, a lot of blood and carnage. And so, they decide that, Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett, they decide that they're going to start a business. He's going to, to work up, he's going to try to get revenge on the judge and everything. And then, in the meanwhile, he's going to get practice at killing people. So that's when he designs, the infamous chair that he's sitting on that's got the trap door, so it's like he cuts their throat, then, hits the lever, they fall down into this, basement pretty much, where Mrs. Lovett takes the body, cuts them up, and starts cooking them into meat pies, and people start eating them. So they're doing really well. They're making a lot of money. But in the meanwhile, you got Mrs. Lovett. She's trying to convince Sweeney Todd to give up his whole plot for revenge and basically just settle down and marry her, and they can adopt Toby, the boy, and they can basically have a family. And he's just like, like he can't let go of his thirst for revenge. And so the movie's pretty much detailing that. And in the meanwhile, you got the subplot of the judge wanting to marry Sweeney Todd's daughter, but then you got the young man who wants to rescue her to get her out so that they can elope and be married. And eventually he goes to Sweeney Todd. He finds out that this is his daughter. And so they kind of devise this plan that they're going to lure the judge there. And so finally he can get his revenge and things like that. But I think I've already gave away too much, but But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. It really, I think if you're into like, really good gothic horror films, it definitely has. There are a lot of British actors in here. You have Helena Bonham Carter, Alan Rickman, Timothy Spall, many, many others. And this movie really does have the feel of like a Hammer movie. And that's one of the things I really like about it. The music is really, really good in this. It is, I do believe it is the original music from the Sondheim musical. And, surprisingly, believe it or not, a lot of these actors and actresses in this movie, they're really good at singing. It's like, I know on here they talked about Johnny Depp was not very happy. And funny now, because now he's got his band, Hollywood Vampires, where he's playing with, Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. And he sings on stage now. But when they made this movie, he was not digging the idea that he was going to have to sing. But actually, he's not bad at it. You could tell he put work into it, as everybody else. Helena Bonham Carter, she does, she's a good singer in this movie. So is Alan Rickman. Everybody does a good job. And yeah, I just, personally, I just really enjoy this movie. I think it's a really good movie. It's a good musical. I'm not even the biggest fan of musicals, but I do enjoy this one. And just the style of it, the blood, like I said, this movie's pretty bloody. It's pretty gory. You'd be surprised for a mainstream film. It is only rated R, but it's bloody. It's got a lot of, gore and body parts and things like that and everything else. So I would say, give it a shot. If you haven't seen it and, if you're at least curious about it, I say give it a shot, check it out. But personally, I really enjoy it. That's just me. And I just wanted to talk about it. And I just feel like this movie doesn't really get enough love, but what can I tell you? So I really enjoy it. So anyways, that's going to do it. So if anybody took the time to watch all this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Friday reviewer. We have great guys doing great stuff, and we got our theme week coming up, which is our favorite TV horror series. That was my idea. I came up with that one. So where we all talk about our favorite, horror TV series. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully that's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody take care, have a good night, and I'll see you next week.